All right, at this time, I would like for you to please sign in. We have a QR code on our first line that you can go ahead and slide on your phone in camera mode. So it's going to take you straight to 3 quick questions. It's going to ask you your first and last name, your student name, and then you're going to pick your child, the school that your child attends. So at the same time, I will be sharing the link on the chat. So you can go ahead and do it either ways, either on the QR code or on the word link that I just shared on the chat. Thank you.
Sí, buenas tardes. Quiero compartir, si por favor podrían firmar lo que es asistencia. Tenemos un QR, un QR, es el cuadrito que se aparece en la pantalla, nada más lo puede escanear y automáticamente aparece en su teléfono con una encuesta, con una encuesta de 3 preguntas o si no lo voy a compartir en el chat. El link y nada más le dan clic y va a abrir igualmente las preguntas.
So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to allow 2 minutes to do this because we would like to see how many families are joining us this evening.
Les voy a dar unos minutos. Me gustaría mucho saber cuántas familias nos están acompañando esta tarde.
Our workshop for this evening is Making Positive Choices with STAR.
Nuestro taller de hoy va a ser Tomando Decisiones Positivas con STAR.
And this STAR is not about the STAR testing. We have to make that clarification. It's about strategies that use 5 steps for the students to learn how to manage and how to go through the process when they're making a choice or a decision. A positive, good choice.
Esta presentación se enfoca en obtener información sobre la forma de las decisiones de los niños y ofrecer a los padres consejos para ayudar a guiar a sus hijos hacia la forma decisiva positivas. STAR es una estrella que vamos a representar de cómo tomar las decisiones. Esta presentación se basa en un modelo común de toma de decisión y no está relacionado con las evaluaciones de los exámenes STAR.
At this time, I would like to share with families that we're recording for those families that may not be able to attend this evening. So if you would like to turn off your camera, if you don't want to be on the we're recording, and if you please can mute your microphone at this moment so we can avoid the background noise, please.
Y este taller va a ser grabado por aquellas personas que no pudieron asistir para que lo puedan ver. Estos se van a encontrar en la página, en la website de Duncanville ISD. Si no quieren salir en la grabación, pueden apagar su cámara y por favor pongan en silenciador todo el ruido que hay hacia atrás. Gracias.
Okay. I would like to start introducing myself. My name is Lonca Denis Serrano. I am your family campus liaison. I serve 3 campuses. I serve Acton, Hyman, and Smith Elementary. This evening, I have the pleasure to have Miss Sylvia Perez that will be translating for me this evening.
Sí, nada más me quiero presentar. Mi nombre es Lonca Denis Serrano. Yo soy enlace de compromiso familiar y sirvo a 3 escuelas que son Smith, Hyman y Acton. Y también quiero introducir a su servidora, que yo soy Silvia Pérez. Yo soy también un enlace de compromiso familiar para otras escuelas elementarias. Y yo voy a estar asistiendo a mi Serrano hoy en el día de hoy con traslación.
And we're having a little difficulties right now this moment. If you have any of your childs or someone that might be clicking on the slide, we'll be noticing that there's someone that might be trying to write on there. Please, if you have any trouble how to do that, just let us know so we can assist you, so we can proceed and continue with the presentation.
Yes, I'm trying to sign in. You wanted me to sign in. So I'm
All right.
trying to figure out what do I sign in at.
Yes, ma'am. Let me show you right here. Let me share the.
I say hi.
No.
If you go on the chat, were you able to find the chat, ma'am? Let me share let me share the link one more time.
Help me out, Jeremiah.
Okay. I just shared the link again on the chat. At the end of the presentation, we can go ahead and I can guide you how to sign in. All right, ma'am. Thank you. And today we have a special guest, Mr. Mario Camacho. He's the manager from one of the branches from Bank of America, who will be sharing some important information about how making positive choices with saving.
Sí, también tenemos a un invitado especial hoy que es Marco Camacho. Él es el centro financiero de Bank of America y él nos va a estar dando tips de cómo tomar buenas decisiones financieramente.
All right, we have a quick icebreaker. We would like to know more about yourself. And please, this time on the chat, we would like to know your name and your student name. So type on the chat your name, your student name, and what is the thing that your student likes about school.
Ahora vamos a tener un rompehielo. Vamos a decir algo de nuestros hijos, como qué es lo que les gusta de la escuela, cuál es su nombre. Lo vamos a compartir en el chat, si gustan escribirlo.
So we would like to hear from you. So at this time, you can either unmute yourself and you can tell us about your child, and what is the thing that your student likes about school.
También,
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
no, también lo que les gusta hacer en la escuela a sus hijos. Lo pueden escribir en un papelito.
Yes, ma'am, you may go ahead.
Yes, I'm Virginia Harris, and I have two children at the school, Joshua Benjamin, who is in Miss Griggs' class, and Jeremiah Benjamin, who is in Miss Coleman's class. Jeremiah likes to do math and reading, and he is at a
Awesome.
24 right now and reading. Joshua likes to draw, and he just loves school. This is his first year in school, so he loves it. And Jeremiah loves school. They're both very curious and their minds are open and they just love everything about school.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, ma'am. I like that. Well, I had to stop by to Miss Coleman and Miss Griggs' class to say hi. Thank you for sharing. That was wonderful. Anybody else would like to share about your students?
I like to tell about Aria. She loves to be with her friends. When she was on virtual learning, she didn't like it one bit. She couldn't wait to get back to school to share her days with her schoolmates. And she's a good student. She loves all of her classes and she looks forward every day to coming back to school.
Oh, that's awesome. Where are your student? What school your student attends? What campus do you say, ma'am, that your student goes to?
Henry?
All right, awesome. Thank you. Yes, I know that everything has changed with virtual classes. I'm pretty sure that the kids are ready to go back to school. We're being receiving a high percentage that are being coming in person. We'll still have some more at home. So my kids are doing virtual. I know that that was one of the things that they miss, just to spend time with their friends too. So thank you for sharing, families. And we're excited about this workshop, so we're going to continue at this time. I'm going to share this video, and I would like to ask this question. How do you, as a parent, capture your child's attention to influence decisions? So this time we're going to watch this video and we're going to reflect on this question. Ms. Perez? Vamos a observar un video y después del video vamos a reflexionar con esta pregunta. Después de este video, vamos a reflexionar cómo este pequeño gesto puede afectar la capacidad de respuesta de los niños hacia los padres.
This is a very common problem of kids not listening to their parents when their friends are around, their peers are around, and it's an early indication, actually, that a child is beginning to replace parents with peers. This is what I call peer orientation, and it's a growing and escalating phenomenon in our world today. it's so common, in fact, that we don't realize its insidiousness, that it is actually what was never intended, or nature never intended it. When peers matter more than parents, when a child takes his cues from his peers for how to act, for how to be, for how to think, for what's important, and when a child starts orbiting around his peers, that's the problem. The symptom is they won't listen to us. But we only attend to the person that we're attached to, and only when those attachment instincts are engaged. So this suggests not a behavioral problem, but a relationship problem. And so the wise parent will say, oh my goodness, I'm losing my child when they're with his peers. I need to do something about this to slow down the interaction, which we all need to do, to slow down the interaction, not to court the competition, and not to encourage it, and to strengthen the relationship. And there's also another thing that's very important with attention, is even if your child has a good relationship with you, you've got to be able to collect the eyes. You've got to be able to collect the attention before you have to engage them, before you interact. It's very simple. It's the essence of the greeting ritual. You get their eyes, you get a smile, you get a nod, and you make sure you get all of those things, and so you work for this. And then when you have it, you ask them to put away their clothes. You start interacting with them in ways to influence them, and so on. Many parents simply operate out of their role, and they think, well, I can tell the child what to do simply because I'm dad or stepdad or mom or whatever it is, or teacher. That's not true. You have to actually collect before you direct. That little mantra can absolutely transform a home.
All right, this was a great video. I'm sorry. I don't know. Can you hear me, Mr. Camacho? All right, perfect. Thank you. This was a great video about Dr. Gordon Neufeld, psychologist, and sometimes our children pay more attention to their friends and their peers or anyone else except for us as a parent, so they can easily be influenced by them. So that's when we had to step in as a parent and guide them to make better decisions. Communication is the key.
Este fue un gran video sobre el psicólogo Dr. Gordon Neufeld. A veces nuestros hijos prestan más atención a amigos o a cualquier persona, excepto a nosotros. Como padres a quien pueden influenciar fácilmente en ellos, es entonces cuando tenemos que intervenir como padres y guiarlos para que tomen mejores decisiones. La comunicación es la clave.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. At this time, I would like to ask you, these parents, what else do you think influence children's decision making? Please, you may share on the chat, or you may unmute yourself so you can share with us. What other things do you think influence children's decision making?
Otra pregunta que les quisiera hacer a ustedes como padres es, ¿qué más cree que puede influir en la toma de decisiones de los niños? Lo podemos compartir en el chat o pueden prender su micrófono.
Miss Noble, I love you, and I'm so sorry. But Miss Violet ain't changed her mind about you visiting. Same as yesterday and the day. Okay, I hear you.
Anybody would like to share anything? As what other things
Yes.
do you think? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I think what influence children are the television. You have to be very careful on what they watch because they can pick up bad things, bad languages. I think you have to be careful if even if your children are playing the video games, you have to pick out positive video games because most video games have a lot of violence off in it, a lot of bad words, and so to buy your children a video game and then to let them play it, I think children should have a time limit on video games. I think an hour a day, an hour in the morning time, and probably an hour in the evening. I think it should be limited so that they would not because it's like addictive and they want to be on it all day. I think parents have to get back control because children are getting too involved with these little bitty little material things like video games, televisions, and all this other stuff. And a lot of children are not going outside playing anymore. They're stuck in the home because they are given things and they don't know how to play anymore. So I think it's up to parents to make sure that their children are active at home. Cut the television off. If they don't want to go outside, then just tell them, okay, you don't have to go outside, but you're not going to watch that television and you're not going to play that video game. And I think children would choose to go outside. They have to be able to use their imagination because they have gotten away from the imagination of how to play games. There are so many things they can do outside and know how to play. Even if they're a child by themselves, you can play kick the can. It's a lot of things you can do outside if you need to play a game. I just think children need to get back to being children because our children are growing up too fast. And then they're going to be young, they're going to be men and just big old children. And I think that's going to be sad because then they're going to be men who are going to have shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And I just think they're sad.
Yes, ma'am. I totally agree. Yes. We as a parent, we have to set boundaries to our kids because otherwise, yes, they will have no limits in life, and then their decisions eventually are gonna be yes. So in order for us to have our students to become successful, we have to set those boundaries or those limits. So thank you for sharing, ma'am. And I totally agree with you. Yes, ma'am. Miss Perez.
Sí, hay muchas de las veces que lo que es la tele influencia mucho hacia los niños y tenemos que tomar el control de cómo establecer horarios para que ellos puedan tomar buenas decisiones. Dejarlos ir afuera, que jueguen, que se tomen su tiempo libre afuera. Esa es una de las cosas de que los va a llevar a que tomen mejores decisiones.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. Oftentimes, a thought process helps guide children in making the right choices. What is a responsible decision making?
¿Qué es la toma de decisión responsable?
So what do you think, what are some aspects of responsible decision making?
Ustedes como padres, cuáles son algunos de los aspectos de las tomas de decisiones responsables?
What do you think, parents?
¿Qué es lo que piensan ustedes, padres?
What are those things that you think that some aspects of responsible decision making when it becomes about making a decision?
Hi, I'm Christina. How are you?
Hi, how are you, ma'am?
Hi, I'm good. I'm good. I think consequences also too for their decisions, what they decide, and there's good consequences and negative consequences. And they are going to be in situations where they have to, make their own decisions among their friends, and you're not there to tell them no. So I think, boundaries and consequences are two really good things to use when you teach a child how to say no to their friends or yes. So, yep. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. You're absolutely right. Yes. Those boundaries, when the kids, they don't have consequences for their actions and their decisions, eventually yes, they're gonna start facing trouble and facing problems. So thank you for sharing. On our next slide, we're going to hear what PBS think TV social emotional experts have to say. As you listen, write down at least 3 tips that you hear from this video. So if you have the chance right now, you have, or maybe on your phone, or just save it for you so you can share with us at the end. We're gonna share this video so you can collect some tips and then share with us what do you think those tips are helpful for us as a parents to share with our students, our scholars. Miss
Ahora
Betty?
ahora escucharemos a los expertos socioemocionales de Think TV de PBS. Tienen que decir, mientras escuche, escriba al menos 3 consejos que usted o su pareja mencionaron.
Exactly, thank you. And yes, like I think that having choices, we can set those parameters by giving choices. So let's continue to slide number 10 right here. And we're going to watch this video.
Every
Please let
child
me
will
know if
face
you listen.
innumerable
You hear
decisions
the
throughout their
video?
lives.
Yeah.
Will they make constructive choices that will help them build a successful life? That will depend on their ability to analyze situations, understand ethical implications, and evaluate consequences. Their decisions will affect their own well-being and that of others.
I think for responsible decision making, what we're really talking about here is teaching kids to think through all the parts of a problem and really understand it in a deeper way, so that they're not making impulsive decisions, that they're thinking about, if I make this decision, what are the consequences of that decision? So we're actually trying to think through a few steps ahead. How will other people react to my decision to do X? That's actually involving your social awareness and your relationship skills as you're thinking through your responsible decision making.
When you're thinking about responsible decision making, we have to think too, as adults, how much do we help kids make decisions? We have a lot of kids in college and young adults, anxiety and depression's through the roof, and I think there's a lot of kids that turn into adults that aren't sure how to make a decision on their own. So the idea as teachers and parents of supporting our kids in decision making and also letting them deal with natural consequences of their decisions when we know it's not going to hurt them, of course. And again, it's case by case and it depends on age, but it's really important to think about us as scaffolding them, but we want them to be able to eventually make independent decisions that hopefully are the right ones for them.
Having conversations after they make their choice, why did you choose that? What could you have done differently? Was that the best choice? And really allowing them to construct their understanding or verbalize the way that they made that selection. Sometimes it may be because it was enticing, or because they thought it would be fun, or they thought it would have a certain outcome. And that may really give us some insight on how do we present choices? What choices can we present that in the end really gives us what we're looking for? Because choice allows growth and opportunity.
As we think about discipline or consequences, really having our young people think through what happened, why did I do what I did, how did that make others feel, and then what's appropriate for me to do now, both in terms of having a consequence, but also to repair the damage. So if a young child is in trouble for being disruptive in the classroom, we could just give them a timeout, or we could actually help them understand, why is that actually a problem? What is the teacher's experience like when she's trying to teach a lesson and you keep on being disruptive? How would you feel if you were trying to communicate to a group of 25 kids, but one student kept doing that? And what can we do to let that teacher know that we understand how she must feel and that we're sorry about that? They're much more likely to really reflect on that and not do it again and to apologize appropriately than had they just been sent out or lost recess or just excluded from instruction as a timeout. So it's really important for discipline that we give kids opportunities to analyze the situation, to reflect on the different perspectives, and to repair that damage so that they're more likely to internalize the lessons that can be learned from these conflicts and not simply just repeat it again or just get angry.
Okay, get ready to go.
So what do you hear that was different from what you have implemented already with your student, or have taught to your children about making decision making?
¿Qué fue lo que usted escuchó que fuera diferente de lo que usted ya había escuchado?
Does anybody would like to share, parents? We would like to hear from you.
¿Alguien quiere compartir sus ideas?
All right, Ari, we get ready to go. Yes, it is. It's 6:30.
Miss Ariel, would you like to share something, ma'am?
Let's go.
We're asking to parents if on this video, do you hear anything different from what you have shared with your students or your children about decision making? Is there anything that you learned or any tips that you would like to use in the future with your children or your student? Does anybody would like to share with us?
¿Alguien que quiera compartir alguna decisión que escuchó diferente que haya aplicado en su hijo?
We as the parents, we have to keep in mind that every decision will impact your child's future decisions as they get older.
Tenemos que tener en cuenta que las tomas de decisiones son las que van a impactar a nuestros hijos ya cuando sean unos adultos.
And at this time, I would like to share this model, the one that we were talking from the beginning, the STAR model.
Ahorita quiero compartir cómo puedo ayudar a tomar buenas decisiones con el modelo de una estrella de las que les había hablado anteriormente.
I'm dressed.
How can I help my child make a good decision?
¿Cómo puedo ayudar a mi hijo a tomar buenas decisiones?
And the first one is, we have the, oops. Sorry, let me get back here, okay. And the first one will be stop. We have to stop, stay calm in mind and body, can help you make good decisions. So take time to stop and relax.
La primera es parar, tener calma para poder tomar buenas decisiones y relajarte.
Number two is think. Think about the factors that influence your decision and understand the problem you face.
La segunda es piense en los factores que influyen en una decisión y comprenda el problema que enfrenta.
Number three, the third one will be analyze. You may have options that each have different consequences, so analyze each option carefully before making a decision.
La tercera es analizar. Puede tener opciones y cada una tiene diferentes consecuencias. Analice cada opción cuidadosamente antes de tomar una decisión.
Number four will be act. Make a decision based on your options and possible consequences. Act on your decision.
La cuarta sería actuar. Tome una decisión basada en sus opciones posibles y consecuencias. Actúe según su decisión.
And the last one, number 5, reflect. Learn from your decision whether it was right or not. Reflect on how it impacted your life.
Y la quinta sería reflexionar. Aprendas de su decisión si fue la correcta o no. Reflexione sobre cómo afectó su vida.
And this is a pretty good way to help your children, your student, to visualize the different aspects. So if you would like for me to create you, personalize you for your student, just let me know at the end. I can do one for you. So you can refer to that one or just have it at home and review with your child.
Esta es una excelente manera de cómo representar y cómo tomar conciencia de cómo podemos tener buenas decisiones. Si gustan una estrella, yo se las podía personalizar para sus hijos. Nada más déjenme saber.
And this time we're going to reflect on learning.
Y ahorita vamos a reflexionar lo que hemos aprendido.
Let's reflect on what we have learned about this workshop. What methods we can use to make positive choices. So let's share some ideas about some ideas that we have learned today. So if you can either share on the chat or you can share aloud some of the tips that you learned today that you might be able to continue working at home with your student.
Sí, ahora vamos a reflexionar acerca de lo que hemos aprendido. Me gustaría que compartieran algunas de tips que han aprendido de cómo tomar mejores decisiones para sus hijos.
Yes, this is Virginia Harris. Yes, I like the idea of taking a deep breath and calming down and counting and thinking before you make a decision, because I have this 4-year-old and yes, he is very temperamental. So I know Miss Griggs has her hand full because I'm always come up there periodically to pick him up. So yeah, we're working on everything here that we had today. We had already been working on the stop and take a deep breath and counting. And now we will be working on acting and making decisions, learning from our decisions. So yeah, this was very helpful.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, ma'am. And then we have from Mr. Camacho, stop and think. Yes, always take that time to stop and think. Very important. Does anybody else would like to share? Awesome. At this time, we're going to continue. Please, parents, stay tuned because we have door prizes at the end of our workshop, at the end of our presentation. But at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Marcos, who has a really good information to share with us this evening with our families. Thank you so much. I really hope that this information that I just shared with you families, it was pretty helpful to you and your scholars. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Camacho. Thank you again, Mr. Camacho, for joining us this evening and sharing this information with our families.
Los invito a que se queden. Vamos a tener una rifa al final de esta presentación y vamos a continuar con el señor Marcos Camacho, que él nos tiene muchos tips y cómo hacer decisiones positivas financieras.
Thank you, Mr. Arnold. Gracias, señora Perez. It's my pleasure to be with y'all tonight. And talking about making positive choices, we also want to talk about making positive choices when it comes to finances for our students, our kids, our children. So I want to talk about making a budget, planning a budget with our kids, with our students. So I want you guys to think about this and sit down and actually do this on paper with your students. Actually sitting down and figuring out, for instance, it could be the cost of a tablet or computer, that ranges from $300 to $500. So if you sit down and do this exercise with your students, put it on paper, show them how much it costs to buy a new tablet or computer, and then show them how long it takes to get there. So for instance, most of us give our children an allowance, either it can be, weekly, bi-weekly or monthly. So, and sometimes we also give them a bucket change that, they come and they ask for money, we give them money. So instead of doing that, why don't we just give them a lump sum? So a lump sum, it can be, once a week, twice a month or once a month, and then sit down with them and show them how they can spend that money. This will be a very good exercise so they know how to make choices and make positive choices when they spend that money they get. So if, for instance, if you give them $20 a week, show them, if you put $10 away, this is how long it will take us to get to buy a tablet, buy a new video game, uh, and then show them they can spend $10 out of those $20. So that way they understand the process of how much they can spend or how much they can save, and it helps them understand the process of saving and how long it takes to save. Buenas noches a todos. Es mi placer estar con ustedes hoy. Quería compartir algunas de las ideas, cómo hacer decisiones positivas. Por eso, por supuesto, nosotros les damos a nuestros niños domingo o les damos dinero de bolsillo. En vez de darles dinero de bolsillo, por ejemplo, se les puede dar una cantidad como cada semana, cada 2 semanas o una vez por mes, y enseñarles de este dinero cuánto pueden gastar, cuánto pueden ahorrar. Por ejemplo, si ellos quieren comprar una computadora o un videojuego nuevo, les podemos enseñar que una computadora cuesta de $300 a $500. Por ejemplo, si nosotros les damos un domingo $20, pueden gastar $10 y ahorrar los otros 10. Y así, con este ejercicio, ellos pueden aprender cuánto es lo que cuesta comprar estos videojuegos, estas computadoras, y también aprenden la importancia de ahorrar, la importancia de cuando uno recibe dinero, por ejemplo, para ellos en este momento es dinero que les dan los padres, pero aprenden cuánto es lo que se puede gastar, cuánto es lo que ahorran y cuánto tiempo tarda para comprar y llegar a una meta. Esta información nosotros la tenemos por parte de Bank of America, la tenemos en Bank of America Better Money Habits, y también está disponible en español. Tenemos videos que pueden ver para que ustedes puedan compartir con sus estudiantes de cómo hacer un presupuesto, cómo ahorrar para nuestros estudiantes que están un poquito mayores, cómo hacer su primera compra de carro y cómo funciona el crédito. Para cuando vayan creciendo un poco, para un préstamo de carro o para su primera tarjeta de crédito, para que lo entiendan de una edad temprana, para que se ayude en un futuro. Sorry, I forgot to share that we have this information at Bank of America Better Money Habits. We actually have these videos that you can share with your students. We have in English and Spanish. It shows them how to build a budget, how to save. And if you have students that are a little bit older and they're thinking about buying that first car or getting the first credit card, it explains to them what it takes to get a loan. It explains to them how credit works. And it also shows them how important credit is in the future. This is something that we have, and it's available to you to watch at home at any time, so you can share with your students. And I think it's very beneficial to teach our children at an early age so they can make those positive choices.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Camacho. And I remembered in our last workshop that we were sharing this information about what age the students can open a bank account.
Absolutely, Ms. Apano. So we can open a checking account for a student, as early as 6 years old if you want to open a checking account for them, so you can show them. All you have to do is come in with your student, and we can open a checking account. They will get a debit card. So they understand how debit card works. And then, that's a way also that you can put their allowance on their checking account. So show them, I'm going to give this $20. We're going to go to the bank and we're going to deposit this. And that way they understand how to use that debit card. If they want to buy that video game, they can use a debit card and they understand, show them how much money they're putting in, how much money they're keeping, and how much money they're spending. So that's another great way to build a budget. Absolutely. Uh, para los padres que hablan español, para abrir una cuenta bancaria para el niño no requiere una edad es cierta. Se puede abrir con hasta los 6 años si usted quiere abrir una cuenta de cheque con su estudiante. Simplemente viene al banco con su niño y se le puede abrir una cuenta de banco, se les da una tarjeta de débito al niño para que ellos se entiendan de esta edad cómo se usa una tarjeta. Por ejemplo, si usted le está dando dinero de bolsillo, le está dando su domingo, lo pueden depositar en su cuenta y así aprenden también por supuesto, porque así les puede enseñar que pueden gastar la mitad del dinero que se les dio para comprar un videojuego, para comprar un juguete y así aprenden cómo se va a ahorrar.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Camacho, for this wonderful information that you just shared with us. This is something pretty helpful for the families to start doing it with their students. Even me, I'm going to start doing that too with my own kids at home, because this is a good way just for them to start saving money in early age.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Ha sido un placer.
Thank you again, Mr. Camacho. Ms. Perez.
Pues muchísimas gracias, Miss Camacho, por compartir todos estos tips haciendo decisiones positivas financieras. Es de gran ayuda. Siempre es bueno saber lo que los bancos ofrecen y cómo podemos empezar a establecer esa rutina de ahorro hacia nuestros hijos. Gracias, Miss Camacho.
And before we conclude our presentation, our workshop for this evening, here's the information of Mr. Camacho and his email and his contact information. So that way, if you have any questions, any concerns regarding financial choices or any other decision that you might be willing to do in the future, you may contact Mr. Camacho as well.
Cualquier problema que tengan, si tienen un problema financiero o algo, siempre pueden contactar a Marcos Camacho, que es el financiero central del Bank of America en East Dallas. Y esa es su información.
You may take a picture so you can save it for you. ¿Esperes?
Pueden tomar alguna foto para que la puedan guardar con su información.
Thank you. All right, and we're about to end our presentation for this evening, and let us know how we did. We would like to hear from you. So please, at this time, we would like to hear from you how we did, what are the ways that we can improve, what other things that you would like to hear from us that we can talk about. So please, this is the QR code. I'm about to share the link on the chat so that way we can hear from you. So we have two different ways. So we have the QR code and the link. So let me copy and paste the link on the chat at this time.
También quiero compartir una retroalimentación que queremos escuchar cómo hicimos, qué piensan de nosotros. Pueden escanear lo que es el QR y voy a compartir también el link en el chat.
Please let us know. We would like to hear from you. So we're excited about this workshop. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. And before we end, here's my contact information. Once again, my name is Lonka Serrano. I am your family campus liaison. I have the pleasure to serve Acton, Hyman, and Smith Elementary. Here's my contact information. Here's my email and my number, the way that you can reach me straight to me. And please follow us on social media, okay? We have on Twitter at Pantry Face and Facebook at Duncanville DBill Family Engagement.